another Friday morning. It's another day to educate and inform you about the state of affairs of small and artisanal miners in the state. Good morning and welcome to Voices from the Mines. My name is Umesi Daniel Chukwemeka. And first off, apologies for starting some minutes behind schedule. We had to do some technical issues. I know some people sound leaky sound as it's political, but actually had to do some stuff. On the show today, like we always do every Fridays from 9 till 10 a.m., we're talking about the state of issues when it comes to mining in Plateau State and in Nigeria generally. And our topic for today is the social impact of mining on local communities. And my guest is a seasoned geologist and quality control manager. Her name is Lois Lazarus Akuben. Did I get the name correctly?
Yes.
Good morning, Lois. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
You know the voice. Let's go on a breather. When we come back, we're speaking to Lois about what exactly does it mean when we say social impact of mining. What are the cultural impact of mining? Does it even affect in any way at all people's cultural belief? Maybe we should take a step back and go to our social studies classes and talk about culture and what mining means to people and these communities that mining happens. You can be a part of the conversation by calling into the studio lines later on the show to air your thoughts and give your opinions. This is still Voices from the Mines, brought to you by Ziva Community Initiative. Go nowhere.
Every Friday on JFM, energy transition and climate change mitigation in Nigeria takes center stage, explaining the role of ASM in energy transition and climate change mitigation in Nigeria, with their objective to advocate and campaign for a full implementation of the Nigeria Energy Transition Plan and other global policies and treaties. Join Emeka Umesi and our seasoned resource persons on the role of artisanal and small-scale miners in energy transition and climate change mitigation in Nigeria. Fridays 9 to 10 a.m. only on JE 101.9 FM. Powered by Ziva Community Initiative, advocate for a sustainable community with support from Africa Center for Energy Policy.
You're still on to Voices from the Mines, and like I mentioned before we went on that breather, we're talking about the social impact of mining on communities. Starting off this conversation today, Lois, when we talk about mining, the very popular understanding is, mining has very good, economic benefits to community. However, more often than not, we seem to forget that a people are a people before the discovery of these natural resources. We seem to forget that people have the way of life, the things they did, the things they believed before. Some people who thought that their lands were good for certain materials should come exploit them. Now, in terms of job creation, how important is mining to this community, and are there examples of where mining has significantly improved the lives of people in specific communities?
Well, actually, mining has indeed contributed to job creation and infrastructure development in some local communities in Nigeria, though the scale and sustainability vary. For example, in places like Ebonyi, I have seen the community artisanal mining employment in the community, where there aren't alternative job opportunities. And we also have ancillary jobs like transportation, trading, food vending, equipment supply, and accommodation, which are all made available by the local communities by the locals. Okay, so sometimes we have the issue of corporate social programs, which we call community development agreements. And they could have schools built, hospitals, roads. This you can see in communities like Ebonyi. You can have it in places like Kogi. I've seen roads built in Lazarus. So these are what we see. But if I'm going to come out and tell you that these developments are nothing compared to the benefits of mining that the mining companies get from this locality.
So let's piggyback on that. You talked about how there are examples of job creation, there are examples of economic benefits directly to these communities. However, when you place this, again, for want of a better word, these supposed economic benefits vis-a-vis the economic financial benefits these companies get, it's a disparity. Why do you think that is? Why do you think there is a lacuna between how much financial gains these organizations get and the economic benefits this community gets from these organizations? Why do you think there is this lacuna? Is there an explanation for it from your observation? Why do you think that is?
I think the problem is that we haven't, these communities don't have social awareness. We cannot talk about the issue of social impact of mining without emphasizing on social awareness. They don't know the value of what they have.
Okay.
These mining activities have brought exposure for these communities. Sometimes when you go there and you're mining, maybe you're looking for one particular mineral deposit. After a while, you go back there, you see they're mining more than that mineral deposit. And that's because they didn't know what they had, but this has brought exposure for them.
All right. Speaking of exposure, we were talking about the social impact of mining. I remember, as a person who grew up in Lagos, Ikorodu specifically, it was a culture shock for me when at some point we did have mining. So this example might not be perfect metaphor for it. But when we had government officials come to the places we knew